everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Conversations. I'm your hostess, Marla Martenson, and today I've got an angel communicator. How much I love speaking to angel communicators, right? It's Veronica Drake. Hey, Veronica.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. You guys, Veronica is an author, a life purpose coach, an angel communicator, an intuitive. She does a lot of things, and she combines her quick wit and warm heart to educate and entertain her audiences. So I am so excited to hear about your journey. I'm always curious. This is always my first question. How did you become an angel communicator? Because I've been communicating with my angels, and it, happened at a later age. So what is your story? How did this happen to you?
It's funny because I started talking at 9 months old. I started walking at 9 months old, and ever since I could remember, I've been a very curious person. And so I just can't be told this is how the system works. You turn the water on and it comes out. I got to know what's going on behind the wall. And so I'm also a fact finder. I'll dig. I'm like an archaeologist. I go on the dig. And so I would hear things as a kid. I spent a lot of time alone. I never labeled this until I was older, because for me, it was very natural to hear voices in a normal kind of way. And I just called them friends. And so as I grew, and I grew spiritually, which happened around 1996 when I went to take my life, I decided it was my plan. I didn't want to live anymore. And I met the angels up close and personal. I literally, and I have chills, the hair on my arm stands up. I literally was in my car going to Korean. I was done, and I felt the angel wrap around me and heard, "We've always had you. Let's do this." And so November 1996, I dug in. I got spiritual. I wasn't raised with God, so God to me was, I don't know, what is God, and I was 30-something at the time, and the journey started there, and I've just been hearing them ever since and turned it into a business.
Wow. So, and what kind of work were you doing before this?
I was in management, and I managed a dental office, a very successful back end. I was the business office manager, ran the insurance end of the business. So I was very analytical with what I did and very into numbers and money and I had made it, if you will, in terms of what you're supposed to do to make it. But my soul wasn't happy. And so my soul thought, well, what's next for you? And then my ego and my personality went, oh, go work nonprofit. You could save the world. Right. Well, nonprofits are wonderful, let me tell you, but you ain't saving the world. Right. You're working nonprofit. You're working with limits. You're working with red tape. You're working with bureaucracy. Not me. Not me. And so at age 42-ish, I'll be 55 in October, I heard, do what you love. And I went, well, what do I love? Well, I love talking. I love sharing angels. I love intuition. And so I went and I became a life coach.
Okay.
And I met a lot of great people. And all of a sudden, as I was doing my life coaching, I would take notes while people were talking, and they were intuitive notes. And people would be like, how do you know that? I just do.
Yeah.
And so, voila.
And then you started, was it still a little bit too woo-woo to bring out the angel stuff and all that? So you were just doing kind of intuitive coaching, and then later you brought out came out of the angel closet?
Let me tell you something. I live in a very small town like this. I am the black sheep of the family, if you will. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. My husband was the head, are you ready for this, of a Christian organization. Okay. And here comes the, and I'm like, no, I don't shrink heads and boil chicken bones. I swear I don't. And so I tiptoed out of the closet. I really did, because I cared about mainstream. And then when I kept hearing all this validation that I was healing women, I was helping women heal, it was like, I gotta bust out of this closet. I gotta stop. And I birthed this business from nothing. At my kitchen table with a piece of paper like this and a pen, and I dictated what the angels told me, and I birthed this business. So
wow. So the angels kind of did your business plan for you?
Totally. And I would go, oh, I don't know about that. And I would be shown valid proof why, yes, this was the way that you should go. And so I gave in, I surrendered, and I haven't looked back since. And it's been years and years.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, I was able to channel my angels, my two guardian angels, after Reiki initiation, after some energetic attunements. I had several different things, and that's what opened me up to do it. And I'm still opening up, because I want to get more messages from other guides and stuff. But that's been really magical for me, which is great. Yeah. So we've all
they're
got
all
those
just hanging out. I mean,
yeah.
They hang out and they're just waiting for us to ask them in.
Right.
Because we have free will, God gave us free will, they're not going to intervene unless we ask them. Now, the only exception to that is the archangels. If you are in imminent danger or you are about to expire before your time, they will come in, which is what I know happened to me in my car. And
beautiful.
So
yeah. You talk about, I was looking on your website, and you tell people which archangel that they primarily work with. So like for me, there's a specific archangel I like to work with all the time that I'll always call in, and then intuitives will tell me, they'll always say that archangel to me, so it's like a validation. And so do you find it's the one that people kind of gravitate to or talk to, or maybe they're not talking to angels at all, so there's just one assigned to them? How does that work with the archangel?
So with the archangels, there's definitely one archangel energy that hangs out more so than others. Now, Archangel Michael, who's the big kahuna, he's like the chief of the chief. He's with everybody all the time. He's the great protector. But I have found for me personally, what I'm experiencing in my life really helps me to understand who needs to come in. So understanding that, Raphael is of healing, and maybe Gabriel will come in when I'm not speaking my truth and I need to get the message out. So it's really knowing yourself and what you're dealing with and how you can call that energy in. Now, spirit guides are a very different entity than angels. Spirit guides have walked the earth in human form, and spirit guides, most likely what I found, are connected to us by our DNA. At some point in our lives, or life, whatever you believe, they've been connected to us through a bloodline, and they've passed on, and they come back and they watch after us. So,
and then angels, which I believe is that angels have never been in human form. They're just pure light from God, right? Yeah. Which a lot of people will think, my angel is my grandmother or whatever, which is maybe a guide.
Again, I teach about the 9 choirs of angels, and the angels were made by God for God. And so if you look at it, and take religion out of it, because angels don't have religion,
non-denominational.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at it, the 9 choirs, there are choirs that sit, choirs being groups, that sit closer to God than others. And the pecking order rules the one below it. And so if you get to us and we have guardian angels, the archangels guide, govern, and direct the archangels, which ultimately comes from God. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the fact that I connected with my angels. It just they're like my best friends, I just love it. And so now during your angel reading, you say you connect with the person's higher self. So kind of explain to people who don't know what that is. What is our higher self?
Sure. Our higher self, as I explain it, is our soul. In our higher self, again, as I understand it, our soul is a piece of the Creator within. And so we're up there, or wherever you say we start from, and we come into this world with a sacred contract. And we carry different fragmented pieces of energy with us, as well as our soul, which is a piece of the Creator. And so when I talk to the higher self, I'm going right into the soul, and I'm saying, hey, what's up? Tell me what you're about. What do you want? And I like to think of it like this. If you're going to make a recipe for dinner and you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to get your little basket and you're going to go get all the ingredients that you need to produce this dinner. And with your life, you co-created a contract. The contract said XYZ. In essence, you got to get your little shopping cart, take pieces that you're going to need to complete this contract. And those pieces include people, experiences, levels of education or not, so it's kind of like pushing your grocery basket around and gathering all the pieces you need.
Now, so that's fascinating. So people often ask, you probably get this a lot, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Do you get that question a lot?
So much so that I created life purpose readings, because there really is, and I have a free ebook called The 3 Keys of Finding Your Divine Purpose. Here's the simple shortcut to finding your purpose. Your purpose is always going to be in your naturalness. So again, I started talking at 9 months old. People couldn't shut me up. I was in the corner. I was in detention. I was this, that. Ironically, I get paid to talk. That's my naturalness. Women mostly will overlook their naturalness because they cover it with busy. They cover it with shoulds. They cover it with have tos. Until we hit a certain age and we go, oh, I know I'm here for more than just this.
Right.
And then they forget that they can look back at who they naturally are. So great exercise. I love this. Go back to a time when you were a kid and look at the childhood games you used to play. I used to play fort. I used to play war. I was a tomboy. I used to play teacher. Whether I had students or not, what you did as a kid was natural. There were no inhibitions. So if you need your naturalness, go look at those games.
Right. I was an early talker too. I think I was talking before 1 year old as well. And my mom would read to me all the time. So I was a bookworm and loved books. And so now, I've written many books. I remember I had a book, I don't know, I was like 3. I couldn't read or anything. And I had a Spanish book. I don't know, it must have been my dad's or something, like a Spanish dictionary. And then my brother was doing something. They were going to go out to dinner. The babysitter was coming. My brother was bothering me. I run up to my dad, and I had this book in my hand, and I say, and he says, what? And I said, Dad, I'm speaking Spanish. So I already expressed an interest for foreign languages, somehow, and I speak several foreign languages now. And my husband's from Mexico. We speak a lot of Spanish at home. I speak fluent French. I can get by in Persian and Italian. I mean, I love that. So, yeah, looking back all the way to 2 or 3, you see those interests that or talents that you have coming through.
But do you agree, though, that it gets covered up because life comes into play and we go into survival mode between age X and Y, and life becomes about survival? And that's sad. We forget who we are. I
had always been liked entertaining and things, and I'd be tap dancing for the family at Thanksgiving and putting on little shows, and I tried piano and cello and singing, which I was hopeless at. Tried ventriloquist. I thought at one point was going to be a ventriloquist, figure I couldn't really do that, and tap dancer, all this stuff. So it took many years of dance, but I did come to LA at age 19 or 20 to be an actress. I did a lot of TV commercials and this and that, but I had to make a living. I had to survive. So what did I do? I was working 1, 2, 3 jobs in restaurants, and I never felt that was my calling. I was never happy working in restaurants, even though I'd have some fun. I made money. It was kind of flexible. I just always had that feeling of this is not for me. And I stayed 20 years in the restaurant business and didn't know what else to do. And then some magical things happened that switched my life around at 39 and got me into the matchmaking, writing books, and doing some other things. But it is that sometimes you think, what am I going to do? I've got to make a living. How can I do my purpose? And I think so many people are struggling with that.
Oh, absolutely. And, I tend to gravitate towards women because I work with women primarily. And, women are naturally drawn to being caregivers. I think the archetype, the Mother Mary is, I work with archetypes, patterns of energy, and the Mother Mary is in all of us. There you go. Yeah, the Blessed Mother, and so a lot of times there's nothing wrong with that at all. Women say, well, I'm a nurturer. Hey, that's totally cool. I love to nurture too. But when we nurture to the extent that we forget ourselves,
right.
It becomes a problem. And that's when my angels nudged me.
Uh-huh.
It's like, whoo, wake up.
Wake up. Yeah, it is important. I've never, that's one thing I've never, now I didn't have any children, so maybe that's different, but I would never had a problem putting myself, making sure I go do that workout class, get a massage, take that trip, do things for myself, because I figure, hey, it's my life, so I help others.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important for us to realize this is your life, and
Absolutely.
yeah, because people are just giving. So then, now, where are you located?
I actually am in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is claim to fame, Crayola, Larry Holmes. Okay, but my work is international. I work all over the world, just like this. People say to me, well, how can you do readings like this? Energy is energy. I don't have to be physically touching you. Do you want a picture of me? No, I don't need a picture of you. And listen, I've been doing this for years, and it still blows my own mind how accurate the angels are.
I know. I do some angel readings for people too, and I just get their name from the email. That's it. And then I meditate and I channel the message and I email it to them, and they all tell me how, oh, wow, that was right on. Yes, I'm struggling with that. Yes. So I'm blown away too, because sometimes I'm like, ooh, is this just coming from me or what? And I just let it come out, and it resonates.
Well, I had very early on, I had an intervention of sorts with Neale Walsch, who wrote Conversations with God. And I was doing a radio show, and he was also one of the guests, and we were talking, I call it backstage, but we were on the phone. And I was saying, oh, I'm so nervous. Like, what if I get it wrong? And he interrupted me, and he said, sweetheart, remember, this has nothing to do with you. You are the conduit. None of it should make sense to you. Because I was always like, how am I going to make this make sense? It shouldn't make sense to me. If it makes sense to me, then I'm not doing my job. Right. So
now,
that was a cool moment.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you just let it come through. Even if we think, well, that doesn't sound right, you just let it come through. Now, do you work with cards, angel cards, or do you just feel like, what do you want to do with that specific person, or just let it channel? Intuition
is what we get with our body. It's our feeling. It's the creator put the device in us, the homing device, if you will. So I feel like when I'm feeling with intuition, I'm getting direct. It's the pipeline too. Yeah. The angels will give us signs outside of ourselves. We've all heard it: feathers, scents, smells, and that's the other thing. And I found this amazing. I got to show you. They're just a little deck. The Lenormand method of reading cards.
Is that the regular card deck? Method. Is that the regular card deck or what?
I made my own deck. That's how cool and versatile the Lenormand is. I have others coming that I just mailed. I've been doing this for a couple months. These cards blow my mind. Coupled with the angels, with the intuition, you can get specific answers. You can ask me a yes or no question. This doesn't dice it. This doesn't mix it up. This doesn't bring past lives into it. This tells you right now, right here.
So those cards that you're talking about, the yes or no questions, you made them?
They're the Lenormand method, and Lenormand is a French method. It goes way back. It's like 1800s, and I'm just going to show you what I did. Yeah, show. I don't know if you can see them. You can print out this little piece of paper. Oh. They're free online. Okay. And I just glued it or taped it to a playing card.
Oh, I see.
If you don't have cards, each card has a picture on it. You could even take an index card, write like garden on it, the number of the card, and voila, you've got cards. Oh. It's like hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics tells a story using imagery. So when I do a reading using the Lenormand, it's a reading using the images, and the images mean what they mean, what they mean, what they mean. I cannot interpret or intuit.
You just shuffle them up and pick one, and that's it. It's right on.
And I'm telling you, people are like, they're blown away with this. I can't stop doing it. I'm like a kid in a candy store with it. And I've only been doing this for 2 months, but it was a natural progression into adding more. My whole thing is I want to get as deep as I can with helping people find their answers, but also empowering them to know that they have the ability to find their answers too.
They do. Me too. I wouldn't want somebody coming to me for years and years for every little thing. I kind of like, as a healer, I'm a healer as well. That would not be a good healer to make someone dependent on you.
Right.
But totally. there's somebody a great reader back east that every couple of years I'll call her and get a reading. It's funny. Yep. She's always very accurate. But that's great. You want to have, because we do know, when I think back, like especially with relationships and guys or whatever, I'm asking my friends, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about? And I always knew if I would have gone inside and said, the answer, it would have been, cut through all the drama.
Exactly. And, I just have a client and she'll say to me, do I stay in this marriage or not? I said, honey, the reason you're calling me is because you already know the answer.
Yes.
You want validation from me.
Right.
Here's your validation. Yeah. Don't stay there.
Right.
And then it's like, what are you going to do to pick up the pieces that fear leaves? Because the law, the cause and effect. For every reaction, for every action, there's a reaction. For every cause, there's an effect. So what are you going to do? You can't just walk away from a 30-year marriage without some sort of repercussion,
Absolutely.
But be ready for it.
Right.
And that's how I'm helpful. And healing is so important. Healing. I never want to create dependency. I want to teach you how to do this so you can walk away from me and then come back and see me in a year saying, woohoo, look what I've done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got to learn to do these things ourselves, and it's great to have support like you for coaching and things. I have also a coach that I'll call maybe 2-3 times a year and run by ideas for business, and she's the expert in that. It's great to have like this spiritual and team and things with you, but then you've got to do some of that work, because I think some people will, like you'll say, she's asking you, should I leave my marriage? You can't give us that responsibility. It's kind of a co-creation there. Yeah.
You talk about your team that you have on physical earth. I have a team of angels.
Yeah.
I have a tribe. So I have my spiritual angels, I have my financial angels, I have my business angels, and I will literally sit down and say, okay, angels, we're going to business plan. I need my business team to come forward.
Oh, that's and they love doing it. They love doing it, right? They never get tired. They love it.
They're here for our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So got to just totally rely on that. But where people get tripped up is they go, I don't know if that was my angels. What if that was me? Angels are always of love.
Right.
They're never going to panic you. That's ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's personality. Angels are never going to panic you, and they're never going to tell you, you must do this right now. It's going to be a slight suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
your job is
and then
to know.
I hear a lot, of course, online is that they'll say, oh, what if it's really a demon pretending? It can't be an angel. It's something coming through. And I'm like, well, I don't think, for 4 years I would have beautiful, loving messages, telling me to get some rest or to take care of myself.
Think about it. That's common sense, right? But this whole image out there of what I do, the whole cauldron in the backyard and, going to conjure up heads and stuff. Are they out there? Of course they're somewhere. I don't know. But here's my thing. I don't let anything that's not love in me.
Yes.
And I know the minute something's circling me that's not love. I also do mediumship. I can pull energies. It's funny because my backyard is a cemetery, literally. Uh-huh. And when we first moved in here, I could feel all the energies coming in. But I can very quickly, what people need to remember is this. As the human, we have all the power. If you feel something heavy around you and you don't know what it is, vamoose.
Yes.
Get going.
That's what I've done. I'll call in Archangel Michael and Jesus to escort them out, and then they do leave, because I've had a little, lower energy come around.
And it'll go.
Yeah, it'll go. And then have some black tourmaline. If you wear a piece of black tourmaline, that protects you from psychic attack and lower energies. Now I've got a smoky quartz on, which was a gift from somebody.
Very
but I love my crystals.
I keep my amethyst.
Yeah.
I do this.
Beautiful.
Third eye amethyst right
Oh, gorgeous. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. And Veronica, you are an angel. I appreciate you giving all your advice, and we will talk again soon. And you guys, let us know in the comments below. Are you connected with your angels? Do you have any questions? We'll answer. If you guys have questions, we'll do another video and answer them. And Veronica's links are below, so connect with her and go on her website and get her free gift. Sign up for her newsletter. And make an appointment with her. Get a reading. Get one of those questions, yes or no questions with her homemade deck. I think that's pretty exciting. All right, you guys, much love.